Hey guys, I'm Brian here with a new Minecraft video. This is part 2 to my Discontinued project series. Um, this map is a PvP map. It's very intricate, very fun, although it's not finished. I've put probably 300 hours into this, and the reason why I stopped was very, very, very frustrating. I'll get into that later though. This project I started on right after Christmas of 2012. Um, I made all of it by hand, and there's a lot to it logic-wise, so I'll be going into that soon. But the goal of the game um, is fairly straightforward. In fact, I have a script of that, so I'm gonna go grab that, and I'll be right back. So, this game is a two-team PvP game. Teams range from anywhere from 2 to 8 players, I believe. I'd have to work that out a little bit more. But each team has one main objective, and that main objective is to power and keep power in their reactor. Um, this is the reactor. Uh, the complete objective of the game is to fill this MFE, which, in order to fill this MFE, you need 10,640,000 EU coming from just this reactor, which takes around an hour of constant reactor power if you're running the best possible setup that doesn't overheat. Now, this game's it's complicated, but once you can get into it, it's amazing. So I wrote down a script of everything, and I'm just gonna read this off verbatim. So here's that. So the primary objective is to fill your power quota before the enemy team. 10,640,000 EU with constant power is required. Lapses in power output will cause a countdown of 60 seconds. Each time you get one of those countdowns, there's a counter, and if you lose power momentarily 6 or more times, you will lose. Now, loss happens many, many ways. I'll go into that as I read through this, but the objective is obviously to win, as is every objective in virtually every game. So, continuing, if you lose power in your reactor for over a minute, you will lose. If you lose power in your reactor 6 times for less than a minute, you will lose. In order to even be in the game, however, and have your reactor outputting power, you need you need a safe, reliable 4-chamber reactor. This reactor has 4 slots available for it on the sides that you can place extra chambers on to make it more efficient. If your reactor turns off, you'll have a minute to turn it back on, as I mentioned earlier, or you will lose. The game officially starts when one of the teams activates their reactor and gets 40,000 EU, enough to fill a bat box. That signifies that the safety mode is off. So the second one team gets 40,000 EU, if they were to lose power for a minute or a few other things along with that, they could lose. So the game officially starts when one team reaches 40,000 EU. And then they can start filling their quota with that. I hope I'm not confusing you too much. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Now, let's see. A viable strategy could be, or actually, hold on, skip that. Now, when a team activates the reactor and they exit safety mode, it starts a 30-minute countdown for the other team to activate the reactor. If the other team does not activate the reactor within 30 minutes, they will lose. So a viable strategy would be to just get enough power for 30 minutes and hope and pray that the enemy team won't uh, get the reactor up by then. You can just rush it. Um, it's a viable strategy. It's just if they find uranium, you're kind of shit out of luck on that strategy. Um, Now, this map by no means is anywhere near complete. It needs a ton of balancing. I'll preface the rest of this with that. But yes, let's see. Yeah, the safety mode also serves as an "Are you sure you want to do this?" period. Because as soon as you exit it, if you lose power for more than 60 seconds, you'll lose, and that counts as a tick against you. So if you get 6 ticks, then obviously you will lose. uh, Trying to read through this isn't exactly the most coherent, since whenever I write down a great idea, I do it in non-coherent but somewhat coherent snippets. Um, and the game does not start until at least one team has exited safe mode. Okay. Now, now that little bit's over about the actual reactor itself, there are two ways for the enemy team to win. They can win by default by you destroying your reactor in either 6 ticks or not going for 60 seconds, or not, or them exiting safe mode and you not activating yours for 30 minutes. And then there's a capture point. This takes 30 seconds, and it gives a little command block message. And if they stand on that plate for 30 seconds, they get access to a room up there with a button that will cause your team to lose. Both bases are the same, by the way. However, the other base isn't exactly made yet, and I'll go into detail on that. But that's a bit later. Each team starts out with some supplies. Now, this is completely subject to change. I have no intention of keeping it this. But this is the supplies. This is on FTB Mindcrack, by the way, for those wondering. So that is what I initially thought I'd give them to start out with, but of course that has to change at some point. Teams can use this however they want. They may use this area as a work area. However, no blocks may be placed in the base except for extra reactor chambers and a warded door that they are given in there. The warded door can go here. Enemies cannot enter the Allies' reactor room, however, so that's why the warded door is an option. Each team is supplied with a basic IC machine setup in here. You got an electric furnace, compressor, extractor, and macerator. These two power sources are connected. You have each of these little setups here that have bat boxes, and you can use these generators however you want. They are stored locally, however, so only this power can be used on these machines, so that it doesn't go to your reactor like you would think it would. You can use these as long as you keep the generators running, or you can use the machines as long as you keep these generators running and the bat box is stocked. You have the option to upgrade your machines, however, by spending power from your reactor. It's not exactly cheap. It is 100k for each upgrade, and what these buttons do is they spit a energy crystal into your reactor's MFSU, and it sits in there until it's charged, and then when it's done charging, it gets pulled out, and it sends a signal to this, which has a block breaker and a deployer above it. I'll go show you that. And what that does is it breaks the old machine and places a new one, so that way you can have machines. Now, this does cost power, so it will delay your winning time if you do go this route. However, it will sap all of the, or it will sap 100k of the MFSU's power, so be very sparing with it. And if you don't have 100k sitting in your quota, it'll just sit there until you get 100k. So pressing those buttons are highly advised, or highly unadvised if you don't think you can afford it. Now I have this system that makes it so you can only press one button at a time. However, it's a little slow, so if you were to go hit two buttons within like the same 5.5 second or something, you'd probably send two and break the system. Unfortunately, that's a product of redstone and logic, but I tried. This system right here was very complicated, by the way. Initially, I did it without wireless, and then I had to implement wireless in later, as you can probably tell because of how fucking messed up it is. But it works. So, like, if I were to hit the button, it would wait for a signal to come back from the reactor quota in order to charge you, or once you've been charged, and it'll feed you a new machine via this system right here. It's a very nice system. I love the thing, but that's it for this, I guess. So you can upgrade your machines, basically, and it's a really nice feature. What else? And yeah, the prices are listed by the machines themselves. Now then, this is where the script ends, and I have to get all technical with you guys. Gonna go through the logic actually now. Let's start with the enemy capture node. This is very simple. The pressure plate is above this white lamp right here, and it goes down to here. It is gated so that if they were to step off the pressure plate, the signal would stop traveling. It's sort of in the lazy way, but it works, so I'm fine with that. And once they're here for 30 seconds, if they're still on the plate, which the pistons will be extended if they are, the signal will find its way through, and it'll give you a message that they have breached the reactor. There will be a blaring alarm, a different one from this, the one that you heard when I stepped on the thing, and it'll pop the door open with the RS NOR latch right here. And then they can go up here, and there's a button in there that just caps. And it goes to the little lost circuit over here. Oh god, there's a creeper. Not dealing with you today, bud. So over here's the little defeat line right here. I'll get into that in a minute. Now, this is the fun part. I get to explain all this to you guys. This project took like 2 weeks to do, by the way, and I paid probably 500 hours into it. So the team's reactor is roughly around here. While charging it, here's the MFSU. So the reactor is up here. Behind here is the safety mode bat box. Once that is full, it starts transferring power into the MFSU, I believe. Yes, right? Yes. So once the bat box is full, it sets out a redstone signal that allows power to pass through, that comes into the MFSU over here from beneath. When this fills, it sets off a signal that allows power to pass through and go to the MFE, and then once the MFE is full, that is how you win. So that totals for 10,640,000. This little giant massive pipes right here is the system that charges you. Down here is a chest with empty energy crystals in it. They go into here, get stuck in the top slot, and then when they are full, this picks them up and uses an item detector to send a signal to this repeater, which goes back to the upgrade system, and then that just throws them in this chest. They don't get used for anything. So that is the inner workings of this area. Now, The outer workings are where it's fun. This entire area, by the way, is no corner thick bedrock, meaning that were a nuke to go off, it would be totally nuke proof. But now, with the recent updates to FTB, I have warded, which is a lot nicer than bedrock. So if I were to remake this or finish this map, I'd have to include that in some way, obviously. Yeah. So under here's the bat box. Right now, it's letting out a signal to safety mode, locking this right here. Were the bat box to turn off, this line would, or fill up, this line would turn off, turning this off and deactivating the safety. This little torch thing right here is what detects if you're passing power through. Might as well go down and show you guys that. I hope to God I don't break anything when I'm going through here. Ah, right here. This is an EU detector cable that just comes directly from the reactor, right here. That sends out a redstone current when there's power passing through. So when there's not power passing through for more than a second, I believe, that will, and you're not in safety mode, which is this line. So right now this is in safety mode because this line's on, and it's locking this wire on. When you're outputting power, these torches will light up and cause this line to be on, but you won't have safety mode on. So then this line will be lit by just this torch, and were this torch to go out, it would go through this circuit. This circuit! Okay, this is where it gets fun. This is the 6 count tick thing that detects if your reactor's lost power 6 times. If you lose power 6 times, or each time it'll give you a warning. If you lose it the 6th time, your reactor will blow up. Or you'll lose. That's what reactor blows up means for future reference. This system right here is just a method to make sure people don't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna put a rod in every 59 seconds so I don't lose due to the 60-second countdown timer. But I made this little system right here just so that people can't cheat. There's a lot that goes into minigames. Warning those of you that want to venture into that. Now this is the 60-second timer. This warns you every couple of intervals that you have low power, as you can read, or that your power's off, as you can read right there. Instability is what I used term-wise. But yes, what this does is when the safety is off and the power is not flowing, it sends a signal down this line that extends these pistons and puts us through the delay. Now, if you turn your reactor back on, the pistons will pull back. But since the reactor's off, these pistons are extended and the current's able to travel. So it'll go down this line. You got the 10-second countdown. That was a pain in the ass, the 10-second countdown. But once it meets the end, once it makes it to the end, you'll breach the 2-second, and then I'll give you like an extra 5 seconds just because I'm nice. Well, no, it'll reach 1 second, then it'll reach 0, but then there's an extra like 5 or 10 ticks just in case you're fast. And then you'll lose. So there's that. Oh, also, if your reactor explodes, you can lose too. I've made detectors for that. I believe it's this little setup. There's lamps in there that have torches on the back of them. Obviously, if the reactor blows up, you're gonna lose the lamps. So if you lose both of them, this little thing will get tripped, and it'll send a signal out, and it'll say it exploded, and then you'll lose. So yeah, that's another way to lose. So you gotta keep your reactor cool, you gotta keep it on, and you gotta keep an efficient amount of power running. Next, this is the 30-second 30-minute the other team has activated the reactor. If you don't do it, you will lose. This torch right here, make sure you're out of safety mode. So if you're out of safety mode and the other team has the reactor activated, this is really complicated, but it will start this timer. This is the failsafe right here. Never mind. Right here, I believe. So this indicates if they're in safety mode, I believe. And then this is the end of the timer. I haven't looked at this in a while. I apologize if... Oh, no, this is the end of the timer. I am confused. Hold on, let me think. So, no, wait, this is from their base. Okay, so this is from their base. If they activate their reactor, it'll send a pulse through this that will start down this 30-minute timer, which is retardedly big. Ridiculously. Sorry, again, I keep doing that. I tell myself not to do it, but I do it every time. Anyways, this warns them at 15 minutes. This, and then I think I have 10, 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, and then a 10-second countdown at the end. But it snakes its way through here. Same mechanism as that over there, except much bigger. So if the enemy team can't get the reactor up in 30 minutes, it'll reach the end of this and cause them to lose. So that is the majority of the redstone for this. I still have quite a bit to work out, but that's all of it. Over here is what I have left to do, roughly. But this is why, okay, now here's why I stopped working on this map. You're probably wondering, oh, you're so close to being done. You already have one full base. You just have to flip it, copy it, change from red to blue. Yes. However, I cannot flip it and I cannot copy it. And here's why. MC Edit, whenever you take this world into MC Edit, since it's FTB, MC Edit just says, oh god, I don't know what this stuff is, and it turns it all to random blocks. Everything gets destroyed. I initially made this in Tekkit. I made this map in Tekkit to begin with. All of it. And I had the entire base done. So when FTB started becoming popular, I'm like, oh, well, I gotta move to the popular platform, right? So I bring it over, and everything's broken. I wait a couple weeks, do it again, everything's broken. Do it again in another couple of weeks, same result. So I end up remaking this entire thing by hand. And I thought it was just an issue of compatibility across the two different mod packs. No. It's MC Edit does not want to deal with it at all. So what I would have to do to finish this map is remake an entirely new base from scratch by hand, because I can't even open this up in MC Edit without everything turning to shit. It's the stupidest thing ever. I'm really pissed off about it. I put 300 hours of work into this just to hit a giant impassable brick wall. And I'm not putting 600, probably 500 now that I figured everything out, but I'm not doing that again. And just so it wouldn't be unfair, I'd have to have a copy of the map flipped, like just take a half of the map, give it to them. Can't do that. So until MC Edit is compatible, or there's World Edit or something, I'm shit out of luck on this, cause I can't flip it. I can't make it even, because if I do this base in a snowy biome with slightly more uranium, and the other base in some shitty biome with slightly less uranium, it immediately becomes unfair, and there's a favoritism for sides, and that's just not how I want to play it. So yeah. Now, the name of this map would be Cold War, by the way. I really like that name. The name of the last map that I showed you would have been Curse of the Wither, I think. That was its working name, at least. But, whatever. So this map, if anyone wants to help me on it, please. If anyone has any tips, any suggestions, anything I can do to copy it, that would be amazing. Because I really don't want to have to do this again. I love this map. Like, I put so much heart and soul into this just to hit that wall. And I was so excited for it. I was ready for it to come out. And it just fell through. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. But it happened. So, not much I can do about it unless something gets fixed one way or another. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. This is a very confusing project, as I can understand. So that's it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.